In this video, I'm going to share why successful career-driven women really struggle losing weight. And oftentimes they hold a lot of shame and guilt around it because they're successful in all other areas of their life, but for the life of them, they cannot get this 20, 30, 40 pounds off or keep it off long term. My name is Bill Murley. I'm the founder of Alpha Her, and for the last near decade, we have coached over 3,000 successful career-driven women inside our coaching program where they walk away in a short period of time looking their best, feeling their best, and truly living their best life again. If that's you and you're serious about making a change, you should simply be able to find a link somewhere around this video where you can learn more about our coaching program and determine if it's a right fit for you. That said, I'll dive into it here. But in doing this for as long as we have, these are conversations that we have multiple times a day. Is in life, oftentimes this mindset, these women we work with, they're successful in other areas of life because of how hard they work and their consistency, like time and effort. Think about it. In your career, the harder that you work and the more hours that you put in and that you're logged in and not, unplugged, you're probably going to do better. You're probably going to get more promotions. You're going to do better financially. You're going to be managing a team. And it's the same with like your marriage and relationships as well. You make time for more date nights. You're probably going to have a better relationship. And these women that we speak to have a lot of shame or guilt because they're like, well, I'm so successful in my career. I show up to my kids' events. I make that a priority. Me and my husband have a great relationship. I'm involved in these communities and boards, and I do these things, and I've been very successful in, philanthropic type ventures or nonprofit. It's like we hear this all the time, and it really drives them crazy. They're like, why can't I just lose and keep off this 30 pounds? And here's the truth: is yes, oftentimes in most areas of life, the more effort you put in, the higher and more reward. But health and fitness doesn't exactly work like that. Because if you're watching this, I'm sure you've tried extreme things. Pretty much every woman we speak to has. They used to do CrossFit 4 or 5 times a week. They did really intense boot camp classes in town where they could barely walk to their car after their workout. It was super intense. Their body was sore for a couple of days. They would go on miles and miles of runs per week and do endless cardio. They did super strict diets, and they were putting all this effort. And sometimes they didn't even see results. But oftentimes they did see results, but they couldn't sustain it. So when it comes to your health and fitness, it's a little bit of a different mindset shift because I agree. In a lot of areas of your life, the more effort you put in, the more reward. More reward. Sorry. It's very linear. But when it comes to your health and fitness, it doesn't work like that, where sometimes less is more. It truly is, but it's a hard concept for women we work with to grasp, and it's a mindset shift and a perspective they have to make, or else they'll never be successful. Because, and here's what I mean by this is like they think the way that they go is like, oh, more effort. I need to like be in a more caloric deficit. I need to take more supplements. I need to do more cardio. I need to go from 2 workouts a week to 5. And again, like oftentimes that can work for a bit. But then life happens and you can't sustain it. So I would argue if it actually works, because it doesn't work long term. When I think of something that works in health and fitness, it's something that works, forever, right? So there's that. But then also coupled with that, women we work with who are, in their 40s and 50s and 60s, they try to do things that they were able to do at 20. And one, their lifestyle now just does not support that. When they were living their best bachelorette life and they had all the free time in the world, they could go to the gym and spend 2 or 3 hours. They could go for walks and hikes and do this thing. But when you have, a marriage and you have kids and then you have more responsibilities and demands with your career, there's no way that you can follow a fitness regimen like you did when you were 25 at now 55. So that's part of it too. And then also too, as a female, when you age, things change. Your metabolism slows down. You're dealing with like hormonal things that I wouldn't say make things more difficult, but things need to be more dialed in. You lose muscle mass when you age as a woman, mostly if you're not like on a tailored, weight training, resistance training program. So like your body just doesn't burn as many calories going about your everyday life. So there's other variables at play here, but we speak to so many women who just think, well, if I just put more effort and more time in, I'm going to be successful and I will lose this weight. And it doesn't work like that. And I know that's like counterintuitive approach, but this is something that we do a lot of mindset work and perspective work, with women inside our program, where the ultimate goal is to, when we bring a woman in, it's not to kill her to her results, because she's probably tried, and you've probably tried programs like that before. That's pretty easy. Like, if just results, or lose as much weight as we possibly could in the shortest amount of time as possible, yeah, I mean, if that was our North Star, we would just put you in a really deep deficit, have you do hours of cardio every day, lift weights, like cut out carbs completely, cut out alcohol, and like, yeah, that would work, but there's no way that women we work with could sustain that. And what's sometimes works in the short term is not ultimately what's best for you long term. But the whole goal in our program, we bring a client in and we really understand, her life, her challenges, her diversity, her career, the time that she has, kids, her relationship status. When we take all that, we want to meet her where she's at, and the whole goal is, how can we maximize her results with the least amount of time and effort as possible. It's about finding that balance in the middle. It's not to like kill them to their goal, because we 100% know, we work with smart women, they know that that will work, but the reason they're reaching out to us is because they can't sustain that. So we're not trying to kill them and starve them to get to where they want to be. It takes a different strategy. It takes a different path. And what I mean by this is, some women think, oh, I got to get at the gym, and work out 5 or 6 days a week. Well, if we can get a woman to drop 30 pounds and keep it off by, working out 3 days a week versus 6, we're going to take 3 every single time, right? That's what I mean by that. And we've had so many women who drop weight who do very little, if any, cardio. It takes more strategy. You have to know what you're doing, but that's the real goal, because when you can lose weight in that fashion, it truly becomes sustainable and you can keep it off. But a big mistake that so many career driven women work with, and it's something that they're doing unconsciously, because again, you're programmed and conditioned to believe more effort, more reward, and that served you well in many different areas of your life. But when it comes to your health and fitness, that's typically not the case. And it's a really hard concept for so many women to grasp, and sounds very counterintuitive, but it's exactly what we teach and we show them in our program. And then once we show them that this works, then they begin to trust it, and it's a light bulb moment, like, oh, I can drop this weight and not have to kill myself, not have to starve myself, not have to cut out all my favorite foods, not have to do endless cardio. Once they understand that, it just changes their entire perspective, and they become much more confident. And then our approach is not only going to lead to results, but results that they can sustain the rest of their life as well. Hopefully that was helpful and give you something to think about. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.